Alright, we are finally back to the January movies. This time, thankfully, though, we only have to suffer through one. The Little Things is a John Lee Hancock movie. It's the first film of 2021 that's mainstream, and it has stars like Denzel Washington, Rami Malek, as well as Jared Leto. The plot of the film is two cops track down a serial killer. That's all there is to the plot. It even says this on IMDb. You don't believe me? Well, here you go. Going into The Little Things, I actually had no idea what this movie was about. I avoided the trailers on YouTube. I did see a few TV spots on television. That, of course, is unavoidable. And really, all I knew about this movie was that it was premiering on HBO Max at the end of this month, and it had stars like Denzel, Rami Malek, and Jared Leto. That's all I knew. When you have a Warner Bros. Project that's about a serial killer and you have a really talented cast, at the very least, all I could expect going into The Little Things was to be entertained, but this movie even struggled to do that from time to time. While there are some good scenes in the movie and a lot of the performances are good in the film, this movie was hard to get through, and by the end, I felt like I had wasted my time. Yeah, we are back to the typical January films like nothing ever happened. Right out of the gate, though, I will give them credit for capturing the eerie vibe that a lot of other serial killer movies have. This movie does have its fair share of unsettling moments that will sure keep you up at night, but that doesn't mean this movie does the most with them, or at least as much as it could have done with these scenes. I'll get back to that in a second, but I also thought the score in The Little Things was great. Thomas Newman is one of my favorite composers in Hollywood. He can make a bad movie a little bit better just from his music alone. The score in The Little Things is eerie, electrifying, and it captures the film's vibe very well. And the performances in The Little Things are passable. Denzel Washington, as you expect, is great in the film. He gives the best performance in the entire movie. Some question why Denzel Washington decided to be part of this film. Jared Leto is also pretty good. He plays the film's main antagonist. He is creepy, but at the same time, I actually feel kind of bad for his character. You can tell that he's not all there in his head, and the cops are a little bit rough on the man, even though they're not totally sure whether or not he is this film's main serial killer. He might have never committed a crime in his life. Rami Malek is the last star in the film, and his character, without a doubt, is the most basic, bland character you've ever seen in a cop serial killer movie. Denzel Washington's character at least has some backstory. You can see that his character dealt with some pain in the past, and Jared Leto is the film's creepy menace, but Rami Malek, what else is there to his character besides being a cop and that he has a family? His character is that young cop who is new to the game and thinks he's in charge, but then has to be told by Denzel Washington that, man, you have not been through what other cops have been through. You have a lot to learn. I mean, we've seen that a million times before. Rami Malek in the film doesn't always feel like he cares. You could cut him out of this movie and it wouldn't have changed a thing. Rami Malek's performance is very average and his character is even more bland. But now let me get into what I really did not like about The Little Things. It's not as much the performances. They are at the very least passable. For me, it's more so the film's story and the directional approach to where the film goes. The first half of The Little Things is more or less a cliche detective movie. Nothing really happens of any large magnitude. It's just our characters trying to figure out who the serial killer might be. There are some other bodies they find along the way, and that's about it. Then in the second half, they track down Jared Leto's character. They follow him for a good amount, but it leads to absolutely nothing. In fact, nothing really happens in this movie. You keep waiting and waiting for a massive reveal or for a large-scale scene, and you can keep waiting past the credits, but you're never going to find it because it's not in The Little Things. We don't have any huge scenes in this movie where your mind is blown or where you're really on the edge of your seat. That doesn't happen in this movie, and there's a reason why this film is called The Little Things afterwards, because everything that happens in this film is so minuscule and little that it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It doesn't add up to really anything. It's kind of hilarious because the movie is somewhat pretentious, especially with its score. How can you have this good of a score in a movie where barely anything of any large magnitude takes place? In that way, the movie feels like it's a lot more important than it actually is. This is not a movie you need to see in theaters by any means. I watched it at home on HBO Max. That was perfectly fine, but I also felt like I wasted my time when it was over. Going back to the film's title, I imagine they had no idea what to call this movie. Then they looked back at the script, read the entire thing over and over again, and were like, hey, in this one scene, Denzel says the words, "the little things," a couple of times. What if we call the movie The Little Things and have him say that line a couple of more times just so our audience knows what the name of this movie is? That's how I imagine that meeting went. If you think the film's title has a deeper meaning, well, please let me know because I can't think of anything else. And like I said, the film just keeps going on and on and on. You're sitting there for over 2 hours thinking that you're going to get something so great at the end that it'll all be worth it. But no, the film just ends. There is so much left unresolved. I guess the writers had no clue how to officially end The Little Thing, so they're just like, hey, let's not find the serial killer. Let's just end it a way that no other serial killer movie has ended it before, by not actually ending the movie. Yeah, that's pretty much the ending of this movie. I'm not saying that some of the scenes in this film aren't good. They do definitely capture the serial killer vibe that we've seen before in other films that are similar to The Little Things and its premise. But at the end of the day, since basically nothing happens, I wonder what was the point of me watching this movie. I feel like I wasted my time. So I am giving The Little Things a 41%. Thank God we only had to suffer through one January movie this year. I thought this movie had some potential, but apparently not. That's really disappointing, especially with as talented of a cast that we got in The Little Things. Alright, for those of you who also happened to see The Little Things on HBO Max or in theaters this past weekend, be sure to let me know down below in the comment section what your thoughts are of it. And of course, if you are new to my channel, click the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.